Imagine you know how to control a spirit. Not the ghost of someone who died. Something older that was never human. You train it. You bind it. You give it instructions. And every day you carry it with you. Inside a single white lotus flower. For years, the spirit obeys. It helps you. It helps the desperate people who come knocking on your door at 2 a.m. But there is one rule. Before you die, you have to release it. Because if you don't, the spirit stays exactly where you left it. Trapped. Without a master, without instructions, without a way home. And according to one legend from Malaysia, a woman forgot that final rule. Then she died, and the thing she kept is still inside the building. Tonight we're going to the fog-covered mountains of Genting Highlands, to a building that looks like it's bleeding. Amber Court. Welcome to the podcast You Can't Unhear. This is a legend. There are different versions. A story passed between people who live beneath the same mountain and keep seeing the same building disappear into the fog. Amber Court. Amber Court is a residential complex in Genting Highlands, Malaysia, high in the mountains, cold, wet, constantly surrounded by mist. Fog moves through the parking areas and open corridors, sometimes so thick that the buildings around you seem to disappear. And because of the climate, everything feels damp. The walls, the floors, the air. There's this smell of concrete that never completely dries. But that isn't what made Amber Court famous. The building became famous because it looked like it was bleeding. Dark red streaks covered the exterior. They ran down the concrete, around windows, under balconies. Long red stains stretching from the top floors toward the ground. From far away, it looked like something enormous had been injured inside the building, and the blood was slowly leaking through the walls. Now, there is a normal explanation. The reddish appearance has been associated with algae and weathering in Genting's cold, damp climate, combined with rust and water staining. Completely natural. Completely explainable. But explanations work much better during the day. At night, when Amber Court is disappearing into fog, you don't look at those walls and think about algae. You think, that building is bleeding. Amber Court sits away from the brighter parts of Genting, away from the casinos, away from the giant hotels and glowing signs. And for years, cheaper accommodation around this area attracted people who came to Genting for one very specific reason: gambling. People chasing luck. People who had already lost money. People promising themselves one more hand, one more game, one more night. And maybe tomorrow, I'll win everything back. You know what I think is strange about places built around desperation? Even if you don't believe in ghosts, you can feel when too many bad nights have happened in the same place. Too many people sitting alone in rooms staring at empty wallets. Too many phone calls home. Too many lies. I'll be back tomorrow. Everything is fine. I didn't lose that much. Places remember people differently than we do. And according to the legend, Amber Court eventually attracted a woman who understood desperate people very well. Nobody agrees on her real name. Some call her the Lotus Woman. Some say Auntie Lotus. Others simply call her the woman on the 7th floor. She didn't advertise. There was no sign outside her door. No business card. No phone number. You only heard about her from someone else, usually after you had lost everything. The story said she lived in a corner unit on the 7th floor of Amber Court, and she always had a lotus flower with her. A single lotus. Sometimes fresh. White. Perfect. Other times, people said the flower looked brown and dry, almost dead. At first, people assumed it was symbolic. The lotus is associated with purity, rebirth, rising from the mud. And maybe that made sense, because the people visiting her were already drowning. Gamblers who had lost their savings. People who borrowed money they couldn't repay. People who had used money meant for their families. They came to her when luck was no longer entertainment. It was survival. But according to the tour guide, the lotus wasn't symbolic. It was a container. The woman had trained a jinn, and the flower was where she kept it. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the idea of jinn, they're not simply ghosts. In Islamic and regional supernatural traditions, jinn are understood as beings separate from humans. They exist alongside us, not dead people, not human spirits, something else. And in stories across Southeast Asia, you'll sometimes hear about practitioners who claim to work with supernatural entities. Bomos. Traditional healers. Spiritual practitioners. The names and beliefs change depending on who is telling the story. But according to this particular legend, the Lotus Woman had bound one. She controlled it. And when desperate gamblers came to her door, she sometimes allowed the jinn to help them. You couldn't just walk inside and ask for money. The woman asked questions. Why are you here? What did you lose? What will you do if you win? What do you think you deserve? Some people were turned away. She would look at them and say, "You're not ready. Come back when you understand what you're asking for." But if she accepted you, she sent the jinn with you, invisible, quiet, following you back toward the casino. The spirit didn't give you a jackpot. That would attract attention. It simply tilted things. A card, a number, a moment of luck. Just enough. Enough to recover what you lost. Enough to pay the debt. Enough to go home. And people said, it worked. But nothing was free. The Lotus Woman had rules. You couldn't ask for help twice in a row. You couldn't become greedy. You couldn't blame her if you lost. But the most important rule was this. Once you accepted her help, you could never deny it. You could never walk around saying, it was just luck. You couldn't pretend you had won alone. Because according to the legend, the jinn remembered. And if you denied what helped you, your luck wouldn't simply disappear. It would turn against you. One story tells of a gambler I'll call Wei. Wei had been gambling for 3 nights. By the 3rd night, this wasn't fun anymore. He had lost his own money, then borrowed money, then money that was never supposed to be touched. Money meant for his family. And eventually he reached that horrible moment where the casino stopped feeling loud. Everything around him became quiet because his mind was already somewhere else. Trying to imagine his wife's face when he went home. Wei was staying at Amber Court, a cheap room. Old air conditioner, thin walls. And somewhere during those 3 nights, someone told him about the woman on the 7th floor. Corner unit. Knock 3 times, then wait. Wei went at 2 in the morning. Because apparently, 2 in the morning is when desperate people make very reasonable decisions. He found the door, knocked 3 times, and waited. The door slowly opened. The woman was older than he expected. Not elderly, just tired. The kind of tired that makes someone's age difficult to guess. She wore simple clothes. Nothing ceremonial, nothing dramatic. And on the table between them was a white lotus flower. Fresh. Perfect. She asked Wei why he was there. He told her everything. And for once, he didn't lie. The woman listened. Then she looked at him and said, "Go." Wei didn't understand. "Go. Come back after." That was it. Wei returned to the casino. And that night, he won. Not millions. Not a jackpot. Just enough. Enough to recover what he'd lost. Enough to go home. The next evening, Wei returned to Amber Court. He wanted to thank her. Maybe pay her? Maybe just understand what had happened. 3 knocks. No answer. He waited. Then noticed the door wasn't locked. Wei pushed it open. The apartment was empty, but not abandoned. Her blanket was still on the couch. Dishes were drying near the sink. Shoes beside the door. Everything looked as though the woman had simply walked outside for a moment. But the lotus flower was gone. The table was empty. Only a faint circle of water remained where the vase had been. Wei left money on the table, closed the door, and went home. 3 days later, he drove past Amber Court again. And something had changed. The woman's unit had been sealed. According to the story, heavy chains covered the door. Not only her apartment, but also several units beside it, using industrial padlocks. Wei asked a security guard what had happened. The guard simply said, "Management sealed them." Later, Wei heard the rumor. The Lotus Woman was dead. Nobody knew exactly when. Some said she'd been sick. Others believed something had happened inside the apartment. But everyone who told the story agreed on one detail. She died without releasing the jinn, and the lotus flower had disappeared. Think about what that means inside the legend. A trained jinn has instructions, a purpose. Someone controls it. Someone is responsible for eventually releasing it. But now, its master was gone. Its container was gone. And whatever had been bound to the Lotus Woman was still inside Amber Court. The stories say the hauntings became worse after she disappeared. And according to some locals, Amber Court doesn't have dozens of ghosts. It has one entity, one jinn, appearing in different forms, trying to get attention, trying to find a way out. And the 7th floor is where it is strongest. Guests have described the feeling of being watched, not from the end of a corridor, closer. Like someone is standing directly behind you. You feel pressure near your neck, warm breath. Then you turn around, and the hallway is empty. There's also a story about a mirror on the 7th floor. People say reflections don't behave correctly. You move, and your reflection follows slightly too late. You raise your hand, and for 1 second, the person in the mirror doesn't. Then there is the woman in red. Some guests claim they've seen her standing behind them in reflections. A red dress. Long hair. No visible face. Turn around. Nothing. Look back at the mirror. She's closer. Some people believe she's another ghost. Others think the jinn is changing its appearance. Because according to folklore, jinn can take different forms. And if something has been trapped for years, maybe it has learned which faces frighten us fastest. One story involves a group of college students staying at Amber Court. One of them, a young man called Fikri, went downstairs late at night to buy water. On his way back, the elevator stopped. 7th floor. Fikri hadn't pressed 7. The doors opened, and in the corridor stood a tall figure. Dishevelled hair, torn clothing, completely still, watching him. Fikri pressed the close button. Again and again. The doors finally shut. He returned to his friends, but then collapsed. His body became extremely hot. He started speaking rapidly. His friends couldn't understand him. His eyes were open, but he didn't seem to recognize anyone. And he kept repeating the same sentence. Chikri, forgive me. Don't disturb me. Chikri, forgive me. His friends recited prayers over him for hours. Eventually, Fikri calmed down. When he woke up, he remembered almost nothing. But there was one question nobody could answer. Because according to the legend, other visitors have heard the same name whispered inside Amber Court. Chikri. Then there's the crying. Around 3 a.m, people claim they hear a woman sobbing inside the bathrooms. Not every night. No pattern. It simply begins. A woman crying somewhere behind the tiled walls. Guests check the stalls. Nothing. Staff investigate. Nobody. Then the crying stops. 3 a.m. is important in the Lotus Woman legend. People said that was when desperate gamblers visited her, when they knocked on her door, when they asked for help. So some believe the crying is the Lotus Woman, still inside Amber Court. Others think it's the jinn, mimicking her, using the voice of its former master, waiting for someone to follow the sound. And then there are the balconies. This is the part of the Amber Court story where the real history of Genting and the supernatural legend begin to mix in an uncomfortable way. There have been deaths and suicides associated with gambling desperation in Genting Highlands. That reality matters. Gambling addiction destroys people. And when someone has lost everything, their mind can enter a place far more dangerous than any haunted corridor. But the local stories add something else. Visitors to Amber Court have described intrusive thoughts. Thoughts that don't feel like their own. A woman's voice. Soft. Gentle. Almost caring. Come outside. Come see the view. It's beautiful. Some people claim they suddenly found themselves standing on a balcony late at night, with no clear memory of walking there. Hands resting on the railing. Fog below. And a thought repeating, step forward. In the legend, locals believe this is the trapped jinn. Not necessarily because it wants people dead, but because it doesn't understand humans. It wants someone to notice, someone to release it. So it reaches into people's minds, pushes, calls, screams. But what feels like a cry for help from the jinn feels like a death wish inside a human mind. And every year it remains trapped. The voice becomes louder. There's also the basement. People who visit Amber Court sometimes talk about the underground parking area. One legend describes a beautiful woman standing between the cars. She smiles, walks toward you. Then, in the middle of a step, her face changes. Other visitors say they became lost underground. Not lost trying to find their car. They couldn't find the exit. They walked past the same pillar, turned, walked again. The same pillar. Again and again. Some claimed they could see the ramp leading outside, but somehow never reached it. The building folded them back into the same place. In 2017, the horror film Haunted Hotel was connected closely with Amber Court, using the building's reputation as part of its horror. Stories from promotional activities and filming only added to the legend. Phones freezing, recordings failing, people refusing to discuss what they believed they had experienced. Today, Amber Court is still standing. The building has undergone repainting and changes over the years. People still live there. Visitors still go. Urban explorers still film the corridors. The fog still moves through the mountains. And locals still tell stories, especially about the 7th floor. The Lotus Woman is gone. Her apartment, depending on which version you believe, was sealed, and the white flower she always kept beside her was never found. So, if the legend is true, the jinn never returned to wherever it came from. It's still inside Amber Court, just decades of strangers walking through its home. And sometimes, late at night, people say the corridors smell different. Not damp concrete, not rust, something sweet, soft, floral, the faint smell of lotus blossoms. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.